Hi, everyone. Welcome to our market update. My name is Vinnie, and this guy over here.
Erik Sandstrom, Prime Lending.
And I'm going to have the clicker going below so you have my information and Eric's information. Before we get into the nitty gritty, giving people the chance to win some money, how are rates looking right now, Erik?
We're looking in the mid fives with typically no points, but a lot of times we're seeing borrowers pay points nowadays. So to pay 1 or 2 points to get a lower rate is actually more commonplace right now. It affects the payment significantly, as we all know.
And I know it varies based off the cost of buying points, but what is usually the ballpark of buying 1 point, 2 points?
Usually a quarter point for every 1%. But we're seeing some rates have a big gap. So in some case, let's say the rate's 5.625, but you can buy it down to 5.125 for, let's say, a point, and that's a half a point in rate. So the cost to buy it down makes sense because you'll save the on the monthly payment over a period of like 2 years. So
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Mhm.
And then selling points. Are you seeing that at all right now where people are trying to like sell points, get more funds for closing costs?
Yeah, as far as well, you mean like sellers?
No, buyers. So buyers basically selling points so that they can basically get funds for closing costs, right? Because you can buy points and sell points.
Right.
With
Okay.
rates as
So I
they
get
sit
where
right
you're coming
now.
with that. So with that into the spectrum, there really isn't too much of an option anymore
Mm,
to, let's say, choose a higher rate that provides a credit towards closing.
okay.
But what I wanted to get into and talk about was CalHFA, which provides a credit towards the down payment and closing costs in some case. I don't know if you want me to talk about that now.
Oh, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges that most people have is saving for a down payment, right? So
Yeah.
uh, there's a program called CalHFA. You have to make less than 211,000 per year. So a lot of people in San Diego, if they've got, let's say, two family households, they make less than that. The average person that I'm doing a loan for makes less than 211K. And what it'll do is there's a couple different facets to the program, but one of them provides 3.5% assistance of the sales price. So it's basically your down payment. Your down payment is covered, right? And the interest rate, I've actually got that brought up right now on conventional right now is 5.625, which is not bad. And then FHA is 5%. So the rates aren't bad at all for the program, and it provides a lot of relief. And in some cases, you can come into close with, let's say, 10, 15,000, or if you want the lowest rate of the bunch, more around 25, 30 for a purchase price of around 700,000. So saves people a ton of money and get into a house.
And also too, there's the ability to ask for the seller to give you credits towards your closing costs. So that's something you really want to talk to your lender with, or your realtor, is figuring out what's possible and what's doable. um
Are you
for
seeing that a lot, Vinny? Are you seeing sellers start to offer credits?
there's a lot more flexibility in the market. People are more open to the idea of, hey, you know what, I can offer this uh, because we're still going to net close to what we're looking to net, right? More flexibility in that. Before, you had people that just didn't want to deal with it, right? And now it's like, all right, let's see how we can make this work. Let's see if we can get a win-win going. So it's a lot more opportunity there for people that are, trying to take advantage of that. With that Calihafa program, you're talking about roughly about 700,000, and with the lowest rate possible at 21,000. What's what's the breakdown of closing costs to down payment there?
So there's a second mortgage with CalHFA that provides 3.5% of the sales price.
Okay.
And then the first lien, there's two options. If you want the lowest interest rate, the cost, so there's 2 points charged on the lender side right off the bat. And again,
Okay.
going back to the whole point conversation, it's almost normal right now. And then closing costs on top of that if you want the best rate. If you can suck up a little bit higher of a monthly payment, there's a higher rate that provides additional incentive where you can get into the house with even less money down.
Well, with let's say the first scenario, how much? What would be the max that the seller can provide in closing cost credits to help sis with that money to bring to the table?
The max seller credit is 6%. So if you get a 6%, which usually you won't see, right? But
Yeah.
if you see, let's say, a 3% seller credit, you can get into the house with nothing,
Okay.
literally nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, 'cause I know with some programs there's a cap of like, okay, well, we're using this much for the down payment, you much for the closing costs, but that's great for people listening right now. I mean, you got to look at the flexibility, see if you qualify, and if that's kind of a possibility for you. We have a question right here. Would that apply to jumbo loans?
No,
That's
it does
different.
not. It
Yeah.
goes up to the high balance limit in the county.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, from what I understand, jumbo loans, the rates are fairly good right now.
They are.
Relative. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually
Non-conforming.
more competitive than the conforming side.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why. But I know why it's lower with us specifically is because we have our compensation capped. So we don't make, let's say, on a $2 million home, we don't make our full commission that we would normally make on, let's say, an 800K home. And that's to keep pricing competitive to, not encounter, let's say, shoppers. We want to offer, the good rates right off the bat so that they don't call the Wells Fargo, the Citi, the Chase, which I heard Wells Fargo, by the way, isn't even doing in-person appointments right now.
Okay.
So that's another thing that we offer, of course, is, you can come to my office, we can sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually talked to some credit unions that are really giving some higher rates out there because they're actually trying to hold back on taking on more files. And I was like, that's very interesting. I didn't know to that degree. That's kind of what's happening right now with some of these banks. So just be aware. I mean, if you're talking to one company or one entity, make sure you get a second opinion because yes, they might be both lenders, both originators. Yet the opportunities they have for pricing can vary. And when you're dealing with basically someone that only doing it in-house compared to maybe brokering out, you're going to get that bouncing of pricing. So just be aware of that. Before we finish this up, we're going to put Erik to the test, see if he can answer or get close to what the question was for last week. This is your chance to win $50. All right. So this is how we get with Erik. How much of the least expensive detached property sell in Vista so far this year? Least expensive.
And we're even talking flips too, yeah?
Yeah. On the MLS. So if it's sold off market, I wouldn't be pulling it up. It's going to be posted on the MLS, and it could be basically posted after it's sold already. But what was detached Vista?
Detached 495.
495, 450. So close, really close. Okay, so now if you're watching right now, factor that in. He was fairly close on that, so this could be your chance to win. All right. Okay. How much did the most expensive detached property sell in San Marcos so far this year? Most expensive. What's your guess?
I'm going to go with 1.95.
1.95. So text below the numbers on the clicker right there for your chance to win $50. And reach out, see if you're a winner. Any last words of wisdom that you want to throw out there?
Don't get discouraged. We're seeing buyers right now that are actually getting their offers accepted with, like you said, Vinnie, seller credits. We're seeing price reductions. There's not competition when making offers on houses. So, if you were unmotivated before a few months back, get back in the ball game. Things are actually a little bit better. Rates are a little bit better. You have a fighting chance at getting into a house right now.
There's opportunity and possibility as long as you have the right team on your side. Thank you guys. Please reach out, please subscribe, please share, and call if you have any real estate questions or lending questions. I guess.